Hi all, there's a very exciting free course at Chessable for you to check out, short and sweet, the Alekhine defense. So Bryan Tillis has done an amazing little taster here, absolutely free to use this one, and it's got 40 minutes of video synced introduction as well. What he's done is taken the core lines, the ones which you're most frequently likely to encounter with the Alekhine, and he's explored those. The taster is really for this Alekhine, the Dark Knight Rises, which, if we look at this, is on special offer, and the rating is for brilliant, 4.88 at the moment out of 5. So fantastic rating there. So that's the Dark Knight, the main course. Now in this taster course, let's have a look. And I've made a note. So there's basically, I've been through this fantastic video a couple of times, and it links with all the variations here. So they're explained, and the traps are all explained there. The ones which really of great interest to me personally, I'm just going to show you briefly. So this one, the exchange variation with white playing a kind of Karpovian line that I became aware of when looking at a video at some point with a Karpov being talked about by Hashvili, and the Karpov line is basically white avoids knight f3. So often black wants to pin there and put a lot of pressure on d4. So this is a really key thing to know about, and it might be off-putting if white just constructs this center without you having a fight on d4. However, as shown here in this line, you can, if you castle, this is very precise, and then you can pounce actually on b4. And look at this, the b6 knight here means that bishop b1 is going to be punished. And if you can just grab the light square bishop, if that moves back, you do have time to grab this tactically, because on a3, now if you move the knight back, then as explained, queen d3 hits c4 and h7, but you take on e3 and then you go back to c6. You're ready now with queen d3 for g6. So this is kind of the Karpov variation. Karpov's used this line where knight f3 is avoided. So that was an eye-opener for me, that if you're ready to pounce, you can even fight the Karpov variation. Now here is a lethal weapon example which intrigued me. So if we look at this, it shows how the provocation of the Alekhine defense can really get a hyper aggressive queen in some lines. So here c6 kind of opens the gate for the queen to be hyper, but knight b4 is immediately got a tactical threat. I wonder if you can spot it. If white played a3, what would black play? Just the quick. It's mentioned, and he's had this in the game. 5 seconds. If a3, you would play. Okay, queen takes d4, because if queen takes, then knight c2 check. So say bishop e3 instead. Bishop f5, and you can see here white is already in big trouble after knight d7. After e5, this really opens the floodgates on the dark square counterplay. After queen a5, threatening a lethal discovered check. But bishop d2, you get back your pawn, protected by the queen. And this is like super nasty after knight b d3 check. Taking out b2 weakens a3, and it's check. And after check, queen takes, you're now threatening queen a4 checkmating. Absolute lethal weapon. So if taking here, queen a4 is checkmate. So that's why I've called that lethal weapon. So yeah, check out these 19 lines, but this is one of my favorites shown. Here's another favorite, a fun line. So I've kind of bookmarked them. So in this line, where the provocation strategy really encourages weaknesses from white, but say white wants to push and play bishop c4, this is quite popular. Play c6, the nuance as mentioned, if you play e6, maybe queen g4, but you play c6 first to encourage knight c3 at least. Now e6 is much safer. So they're going for that d6. It looks as though, well, isn't black passive, but there's a big surprise here. If white gets this kind of form pawn on d6, you've got great undermining opportunities in this position. and this is really wonderfully demonstrated with bishop a6 and f6, so you're undermining this pawn chain, that f file. The queen's going to be hyper again in this line, which for me makes it kind of entertaining to see these hyper queen aggressive lines. And it looks so, hold on a sec, you've just blundered a piece. What's this? And this is the really fun thing, that after b4, now the queen's got a3, but you're threatening knight b4 and knight c2 check if knight f3. So say the queen scurries back, then you just hit with your hyper-aggressive queen, f2 and d4. This is just wonderful stuff. And now knight b4, threatening knight d3 check. And white is in huge, huge trouble here after knight d3. Queen takes d4, striking f2 and a1. That is, as the author says, great pain for white. So fantastic variations here. Here, this is what I call terror line neutralized. So I used to like playing this with white in blitz, this line with e6, and I thought there was something suspect about this. And if you're prepared with black against this terror line, so white was being lazy with knight c3, trying to sort of an anti-Alekhine system. But you strike with d5 and you allow e6, which I used to think was a very dangerous positional pawn sack, but black bites that center with c5. And doesn't mind this hack attack style, which, as you know, I love the h-pawn hack attacks, but it's not so scary here. Black has a fantastic resource in this position to kind of make it backfire on white here, which is king d7. So the bishop will be a liability, a downside in its own right when it takes on g6 because of queen g8. So as it mentions here, queen g8 hits g2 if the bishop moves. And so after this, white really, it's as the author says, it's kind of scary but toothless. I really like that expression used. The author has a great sense of humour throughout even this core examples, the core 19 examples. So here, black's absolutely fine in what I call the terror line neutralised. Here, this shows that sometimes you can get a better version of the French defence, which is something I like to read about how you can sometimes do that in other systems, because the French defence has the classic bad bishop issue, but this demonstrates here that sometimes you can use the Alekhine to basically get rid of your bad bishop, and that classic beautiful French defence style strategy is hitting hard at d4 without a knight on f3. You hit d4 really hard, and this quirky looking move is justified here because of you've got a tactical idea c4, and you're going to get rid of the venomous bishop, the attacking bishop, and get a position which is really tame for white. You're absolutely fine. Black went on to win there in that game. And here, one more just fun line, but check out yourself. It's absolutely free to check out these 19 core lines. These are just the selection of my favourites for this little video, this preview of the preview. So d6, if f4 taking, and now c5 hitting that centre hard is in the spirit of things. Bishop f5, and here you've got very active piece play, and the bishop and knight are coordinating on that common square c2. So this is very dangerous for white. Here bishop takes c2, and now queen d3 hits e3. Bishop moves, bishop e7. a3, but now you've got a fantastic tactic here. Bishop takes b3. So although it seems you might have had loose pieces because of the king in the centre, knight c2 check taking here, hitting the queen. It's a total disaster for white. Yeah, so this is my selection of lines which I found most entertaining. But this is a really fantastic thing to check out with that video. If you want to check out that 40-minute excellent video, I've been through it twice, and I feel inspired now to try the Alekhine defence in my own games. But also check out the main course, which has got a fantastic review rating. So the Alekhine defence, The Dark Knight Rises, one of the greatest films, of course, of all time. So great stuff. That the author has a great sense of humour, witty, and really creates some amazing ideas here for how to make this into a really fighting, provocative, counter-attacking opening. So I hope you check it out. There's the link there if you want to check it out. Okay, thanks very much.